I am the greatest. You know how fast I am? Fell, I'm so fast last week, I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, I was in the bed before the room was dark.
They told him to stay quiet. They told him to be grateful. They told him to know his place. Muhammad Ali listened to none of it. Before the world called him the greatest, before the poems, the ballads, and the legend, he was just a mischievous kid from Louisville who refused to make himself smaller. This is not merely the story of a boxer. It is the story of a man who turned struggle into language. A man who transformed pain into purpose and resistance into legacy. Muhammad Ali was born in 1942 as Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. in an America fractured by discrimination, where no one expected his voice to be heard. The neighborhoods he grew up in were divided not by walls, but by skin color. Opportunities were scarce, expectations even lower. Perhaps that is why he dreamed bigger than anyone else. At 12 years old, when his bicycle was stolen, he stormed into a boxing gym in anger. He didn't come to become a champion. He didn't intend to change history. He came simply wanting to fight back. That moment didn't create a fighter. It revealed one. Ali was always different. He didn't move like a heavyweight. He didn't speak like one. Heavyweights were supposed to be quiet, rigid, predictable. Ali was fast. Ali was entertaining. Ali never stopped talking. He didn't just punch his opponents. He humiliated them. And that terrified the boxing world. Because Ali wasn't only fighting men in the ring. He was challenging the very idea of what a boxer was supposed to be. When he won Olympic gold in 1960, his talent was undeniable, but his confidence, that was seen as a problem. Ali didn't act like he hoped to win. He claimed he would. He showed no reverence for champions. He predicted their defeat in advance. Some called it arrogance. Others found it dangerous. But for Ali, it was survival. In a world that wanted him silent, his voice became his most powerful weapon. Then came Sonny Liston. Fear-made flesh, Liston wasn't just a champion. He was a threat. Bootleggers mocked Ali. The media dismissed him. Everyone expected an execution. Ali danced. Ali talked. Ali smiled. When the bell rang, he did something extraordinary. He defeated the monster. That night, Ali didn't just win the heavyweight title. He shattered an idea of power. He offered speed over brute force, intelligence over fear, confidence over silence. But the most dangerous fights would take place outside the ring. Soon after, Cassius Clay disappeared. Muhammad Ali was born, and America wasn't ready. His conversion to Islam, his rejection of his slave name, and his refusal to fight in the Vietnam War turned him overnight from hero to enemy. They stripped him of his title, banned him from boxing, tried to erase him at the physical peak of his career. Ali was exiled, not for what he did, but for what he refused to do. For nearly 4 years, Ali didn't fight professionally. 4 years of forced silence, 4 years of headlines. He spoke at universities, challenged politicians, questioned a system no one else dared to question. Courage had a cost, financially, physically, mentally. When he returned, he was no longer the same fighter, but he had become something else. Joe Frazier, the fight of the century. 2 undefeated champions, but only one symbol. Frazier represented the system. Ali represented resistance. The fight was brutal, personal, unforgiving. Ali lost. For the first time, the legend cracked. But strangely, it grew even larger. Because Ali showed something rarer than victory. Vulnerability. What followed was not absolute dominance, but balance. His speed had faded. His reflexes slowed. But his mind evolved. He accepted pain, controlled rhythm, learned how to survive. Rumble in the Jungle wasn't just a boxing match. It was a psychological trap against George Foreman. Younger, strong, more destructive, Ollie leaned against the ropes and invited destruction. What else you got? When Foreman fell, Ollie reclaimed his crown. Not because he was the fastest, not because he was the strongest, but because he was the smartest. As he fought his final great battles, his body was already breaking down. Parkinson's would come later. But the damage was already there. Every fight took something. Every comeback demanded more. Ollie kept going. Because few fighters understood one truth. Legacy is not built by preservation. It is built by sacrifice. Muhammad Ali was not perfect. He had flaws. He was full of contradictions. His words could be cruel. He was reckless with his body. But he was never silent. And because of that, his impact reached far beyond boxing. Ali didn't just fight opponents. He fought expectations. He fought fear. He fought history. And somehow, he won. This is not the story of a man who learned how to fight. It is the story of a man who learned why to fight. As the years passed, Muhammad Ali's body slowed, but his presence never did. Hands that once moved like lightning began to tremble. The voice that shook reeds grew quieter. The cost of greatness became visible. Parkinson's didn't defeat Ali. It revealed him. For every round he refused to quit. Every fight he should not have taken. Every night he chose legacy over safety. Ali gave more than he had, and never asked for it back. What made Muhammad Ali immortal was never just boxing. It was his refusal to separate the athlete from the human being. He didn't find his voice after becoming a champion. He became a champion by using his voice. He stood against war knowing it would cost him everything. He spoke when silence was safer. He stood alone and changed how athletes were allowed to exist. Before Ali, fighters were entertainment. After Ali, they were individuals with ideas. Muhammad Ali taught the world this. Confidence can be armor. Intelligence can overpower violence. Resistance can be louder than fists. He showed that fighting isn't always about winning. Sometimes, it's about refusing to bow. In the end, Muhammad Ali didn't leave behind only belts, records, or footage. He left a legacy. Permission to speak. Permission to believe. Permission to own. This was not the story of a perfect man. It was the story of a man who chose a meaningful life over a comfortable one and paid the price to the very end. Muhammad Ali did not stand forever. He did not disappear forever, but his impact never faded.